The beam fell without warning, 1,000 pounds of burning steel that pinned Captain Ciara O'Connell to the floor like a butterfly under glass. Smoke filled her lungs. Darkness crept at the edges of her vision. 20 years fighting fires, and this was how it ended. Then she appeared through the smoke, a stranger with a British accent and fearless hands crawling into hell itself when everyone else was running out. "Stay with me," the woman commanded, fingers checking Ciara's pulse with surgeon's precision. "I didn't come to Dublin to watch heroes die." Ciara tried to ask who she was, but consciousness was slipping away. The fire had started at 3:47 a.m. in a 5-story apartment building in Dublin's Docklands. By the time Ciara's crew arrived, flames were pouring from multiple windows like orange waterfalls against the night sky. She'd seen hundreds of fires in her 20-year career, but something about this one felt wrong from the start. "Captain, the building's not fully evacuated," her deputy Shay shouted over the roar of the flames. Ciara was already moving, leading her team into the smoke-filled corridors. The heat was intense, hotter than it should be at this stage. The fire was spreading too fast, moving in patterns that didn't match the building's layout. Professional instinct whispered warnings in the back of her mind, but there were people inside who needed help. That's when she heard it, a woman's voice calling for help from the 3rd floor. Ciara took the stairs 2 at a time, her breathing apparatus fogging slightly as she climbed. She found the source, an elderly man trapped in his apartment, and began the evacuation. But as she guided him toward the exit, the ceiling groaned. The structural beam came down like judgment. Pain exploded through Ciara's leg and chest as the burning timber pinned her to the floor. She tried to move, but the weight was impossible. Smoke was getting thicker. Her radio crackled with distant voices, but they seemed far away. This was bad. This was really bad. Then someone was there, crawling through the smoke toward her instead of away from it. "Don't move," a woman's voice said, calm and commanding despite the chaos. "I'm a doctor. I'm going to check you over." Through the haze, Ciara saw her. A black woman with natural coils pulled back from her face, maybe mid-30s, wearing civilian clothes now covered in soot. Her hands were steady as she checked Ciara's vitals, completely focused despite the fire raging around them. "Are you mad?" Ciara gasped. "You need to get out of here." "I will, with you." The woman's accent was British, posh, educated. "I'm Dr. Amara James. I was visiting a colleague when the fire started. Now stop arguing and save your breath. Your crew is coming." "You shouldn't have come in here." "Probably not," Amara smiled, and even through the smoke and fear, Ciara noticed it was a beautiful smile. "But I have a terrible habit of running toward trouble instead of away from it. What's your name?" "Captain Ciara O'Connell." "Well, Captain Ciara O'Connell, you're going to be fine. Talk to me. Tell me about yourself. Keep your mind active." For the next 7 minutes, the longest 7 minutes of Ciara's life, Amara kept her talking, kept her conscious, kept her alive. She asked about Ciara's family, her career, her favorite foods, anything to keep Ciara focused on something other than the smoke filling her lungs and the beam crushing her chest. When the rescue team finally cut them free, Ciara's last conscious thought was of gray eyes meeting brown ones in the firelight, and a British voice saying, "You're going to be fine. I promise." Ciara woke up in St. James's Hospital 12 hours later. The first thing she saw was Dr. Amara James standing by her bed, checking her medical chart. In the clean fluorescent light, without the smoke and chaos, Amara was even more striking than Ciara remembered. She wore navy blue scrubs, her natural hair framing her face, and when she noticed Ciara was awake, her whole face lit up. "You're awake. How do you feel?" "Like a building fell on me." Ciara's voice was hoarse from smoke inhalation. "What are you doing here? Are you my doctor?" "No, I'm a trauma surgeon. Different department. Amara hesitated, suddenly looking less confident. "I wanted to make sure you were okay. I hope that's not weird. I don't usually follow up with people I meet during disasters." "You saved my life. I think that earns you visiting rights." Before they could talk more, Ciara's fire chief arrived with the deputy commissioner. They were concerned about the fire pattern, asking questions about what Ciara had noticed. Media were calling her a hero again, the same story they always told when a firefighter did their job. They were calling Amara reckless but brave for entering the burning building without training. Amara's fellowship supervisor from the hospital also showed up, clearly angry. "Dr. James, you violated every safety protocol. You could have been killed. You're here to learn trauma surgery, not perform it on yourself," Ciara interrupted, her voice rough but firm. "She saved my life. If that's reckless, then reckless is exactly what I needed." Their eyes locked across the hospital room. Something unspoken passed between them. Gratitude, yes, but also recognition. A sense of seeing someone and being seen in return. It felt significant in a way Ciara couldn't quite name. Before leaving, Amara scribbled something on Ciara's discharge papers. "My mobile number, in case you have any medical questions about your recovery." They both knew it wasn't really about medicine. 4 days later, Ciara showed up at Butler's Chocolate Cafe in Temple Bar. She'd dressed carefully, dark jeans, leather jacket, her red hair loose instead of pulled back in her usual work style. She felt nervous in a way that firefighting never made her feel. Amara was already there, waiting at a corner table with 2 lattes. She smiled when she saw Ciara, and the nervousness eased slightly. "You came," Amara said. "You saved my life. Least I could do is buy you coffee, though it looks like you already bought the coffee." "I was nervous. Bought them early," Amara laughed. "So, how are you feeling? Any chest pain? Shortness of breath?" They talked about medical things for a while. Recovery timelines, breathing exercises, follow-up appointments, professional safe conversation. Then Ciara asked about the comment Amara had made in the fire, about having a terrible habit of running toward trouble. Amara's expression softened. "I meant it literally. I'm a trauma surgeon. I specialize in emergency medicine, disaster response. I go where the crisis is. It's not always great for relationships. My ex-wife used to say I was married to my work." "Ex-wife?" "I'm gay. Recently divorced, about a year now. The marriage ended amicably, but it still hurt. We wanted different things. She wanted stability. I wanted to chase emergencies across the globe." Amara paused. "What about you? I'm usually not this forward, but life's too short to waste time. Are you gay? Yes. Out? Also yes, though it took me until my 30s to admit it." Ciara smiled slightly. "Not always easy in the fire department. Being a lesbian and being excellent made me a target for some people's jealousy." They talked for 2 hours. Amara had come to Dublin for a 6-month trauma surgery fellowship at St. James's Hospital. She was only 3 weeks into it. She was originally from London, had done medical training across 3 continents, and had an ex-wife named Keisha, who she was still friends with. She loved true crime podcasts, terrible reality TV, and cooking elaborate meals she never had time to eat. Ciara shared less. She was naturally private, but Amara's warmth made it easier. She talked about growing up in Dublin, joining the fire service at 22, working her way up to captain. She mentioned her mother, who worried constantly, and her small circle of close friends. Then Amara said something that changed the conversation entirely. "I've been reading fire investigation reports from the last 6 months. Professional curiosity, I like to understand the patterns of injuries I treat." Amara leaned forward. "There have been 3 suspicious fires in Dublin, all residential buildings, all with similar accelerant patterns that suggest arson. Last week's fire, the one we met at, was the 4th. Ciara went very still. "How do you know about the investigation?" "I'm trained in pattern recognition. It keeps people alive in the emergency room." Amara's voice dropped. "Someone skilled is setting these fires, Ciara. Someone who knows how to make them look accidental. Until last week, when they got sloppy or stopped caring about hiding it." The rational part of Ciara's brain said this was confidential information, that she shouldn't discuss an ongoing investigation. But Amara wasn't asking idle questions. She was seeing patterns that mattered, making connections that could save lives. And more than that, Ciara was intrigued. This beautiful, brave, brilliant woman wasn't just pretty eyes and a warm smile. She was sharp, observant, genuinely interested in solving puzzles. "Dinner," Ciara said suddenly. "Tomorrow night. I'll tell you what I know about the investigation, unofficially." Amara's smile was like sunrise breaking through clouds. "Unofficially, I'd like that very much." Their first official date was supposed to be romantic. Chapter 1. Restaurant on Parnell Square had candlelight, good wine. and a menu that promised sophisticated Irish cuisine. Ciara had made reservations weeks in advance. Instead, between the starter and main course, they spread out printed fire reports across the table. Amara pulled up photos on her phone while Ciara sketched a map on a napkin, marking each fire location. The waiter looked confused. Other diners probably thought they were eccentric academics. Neither of them cared. "Look at the timing," Amara said, pointing to dates on the reports. 3 to 4 weeks between each fire. That's not random. That's someone with a pattern, a schedule. Or someone with a job that gives them specific opportunities, Ciara added. Someone who knows building layouts, fire behavior, how to bypass safety systems. They didn't solve the mystery that night, but they discovered something more important. They worked well together. Amara's medical training gave her a unique perspective on evidence and patterns. Ciara's experience provided context and technical knowledge. Together, they saw things neither could see alone. Over the next 3 weeks, they fell into a natural rhythm. Morning runs along the River Liffey, where Amara struggled to keep up with Ciara's firefighter stamina but refused to quit. Late-night phone calls where Amara shared stories from the operating room, and Ciara talked about everything except work. Weekend trips to the farmer's market where Ciara bought fresh flowers for the station, but always left them at Amara's temporary flat. Their communication styles emerged clearly. Ciara texted in complete sentences, responded quickly, and called when something truly mattered. She used dry humor to deflect vulnerability and was naturally protective, always checking that Amara got home safely, always watching exits in restaurants, always aware of her surroundings. Amara sent voice notes because she thought out loud, used emojis liberally, and asked follow-up questions that showed she actually listened to the answers. She was warm, tactile, expressive, the opposite of Ciara's controlled reserve. Their first kiss happened in a quiet corner of Trinity College Library, where they had gone to research historical fire investigation methods. Amara's idea, she was fascinated by the evolution of forensic science. Ciara had been explaining accelerant chemistry when she noticed Amara wasn't listening anymore, just watching her mouth move. "You're not hearing a word I'm saying," Ciara murmured. "Not even slightly," Amara agreed and kissed her. It was soft, tentative, perfect. When they broke apart, Amara was smiling and Ciara felt like she could breathe properly for the first time in years. Public displays of affection were harder. Ciara's career in a conservative, male-dominated field had taught her to be careful about visibility. She wasn't closeted. Her crew knew she was gay, but she was private. Amara understood without Ciara having to explain it. She didn't push, didn't take it personally, just squeezed Ciara's hand under tables and saved the real affection for private moments. 5 weeks into dating, something shifted. They'd moved past casual into something deeper, more serious. Neither had said, "I love you" yet, but it hovered in every touch, every look, every choice they made to prioritize time together, despite demanding careers. Ciara started imagining what it would mean to ask Amara to stay after the fellowship ended. Amara started imagining what it would mean to give up London, her career trajectory there, for this thing that felt like home. Then came the night that changed everything. Amara had lost a young patient, a 19-year-old motorcycle accident victim who died on the operating table despite everything she'd tried. Ciara had responded to a car fire with a family trapped inside. Everyone survived, but it had been close. Too close. They ended up at Amara's flat at 2 a.m., both emotionally raw and exhausted. The kiss that had been building for weeks exploded against the front door, desperate, hungry, tender. They stumbled to the bedroom, shedding clothes and inhibitions. Afterward, lying tangled in sheets, Amara traced the scars on Ciara's shoulder, back, arms. There were dozens of them, small burns, surgical scars, marks from falling debris, a roadmap of 20 years fighting fires. "Tell me about them," Amara whispered. Ciara never talked about her scars, never explained them to lovers or friends or family. But something about Amara's gentle curiosity, her genuine desire to know, made the words come easier. "That one's from a warehouse fire in 2018. Chemical explosion. I was pulling out a worker who was trapped. That line across my shoulder. That's from a car accident in 2020. We had to cut someone out of a vehicle that was leaking fuel. The burns on my forearm are from a school fire. I carried 3 children out that night." You wear your bravery on your skin, Amara said softly. Ciara's voice cracked. I wear my failures there too. Every scar is someone I didn't save fast enough, some mistake I made, some moment I wasn't good enough. Amara sat up, suddenly fierce. Stop. Every scar is someone you ran toward while everyone else ran away. Every mark is proof that you put yourself between danger and innocent people. That's not failure, Ciara. That's who you are. That's why She stopped herself. What? Why I'm falling in love with you, Amara finished quietly. The words hung in the air between them. Ciara felt something crack open in her chest. 20 years of walls built to keep people at a safe distance, suddenly crumbling. She kissed Amara like she was oxygen itself. Meeting each other's worlds came next. Amara met Ciara's fire crew at their regular pub, Molly Malone's on Suffolk Street. The team was welcoming but clearly protective of their captain. Shay, Ciara's deputy and closest friend, pulled Amara aside. She doesn't bring people around, ever. You must be special. He studied Amara carefully. Don't hurt her. She acts tough, but I know, Amara said gently. I won't, or I'll try not to. That's all anyone can promise, isn't it? Watching Ciara with her crew, Amara saw something important. Ciara was respected, even loved, but also isolated. She was their leader, not quite their peer. Being a woman, being gay, being excellent in a field that hadn't always welcomed any of those things, Ciara had built walls so high that even her closest friends couldn't fully scale them. When Ciara met Amara's hospital colleagues during a shift break, the difference was striking. They were brilliant, chaotic, diverse, and clearly adored Amara. Her ex-wife Keisha even video called from London to meet the firefighter. It was awkward but kind, revealing a different kind of person than Ciara had imagined. Amara's world was open, emotionally available, unguarded in ways Ciara had never allowed herself to be. By week 8, they were deeply in love. Both of them knew it, felt it, lived it. But neither had said the actual words again since that first night. Amara's fellowship was halfway through. The clock was ticking on their time together, and neither knew how to address it. Then, the 5th fire happened. A community center in Ballymun burned on a Tuesday night. No fatalities, but it was clearly arson. The accelerant pattern matched the previous fires, but this time, spray painted on the remaining wall in crude letters. Remember Danny. When Ciara arrived at the scene and saw those words, Amara watched all the color drain from her face. Who's Danny? Amara asked. Ciara's voice was hollow, distant. Someone I destroyed. Ciara didn't want to talk about it. Not at the fire scene, not in the car, not when they got back to her house in Drumcondra late that night. She paced the living room like a caged animal while Amara sat on the couch, patient but concerned. You can't shut me out of this, Amara finally said. Someone just left you a message at a crime scene. That's not normal, Ciara. Talk to me. So Ciara told her about Danny Devlin. 7 years ago, Danny had been a firefighter under Ciara's command. He was charming, popular with the crew, and completely reckless. He took unnecessary risks, showed off during operations, and prioritized looking heroic over following safety protocols. Ciara noticed it early, the way he endangered himself, and others, for glory. Then came the warehouse fire, where Danny's negligence nearly killed a young trainee. The kid survived, but barely. Ciara filed a formal misconduct report. During the investigation, more problems emerged. Danny had been falsifying safety reports, hiding substance abuse issues, lying about equipment checks. He was volatile, manipulative, dangerous. The department dismissed him. Danny blamed Ciara entirely, said she'd targeted him because she was jealous, because she was bitter, because she was a woman who couldn't handle a real firefighter showing her up. He sent threatening messages for months until Ciara got a restraining order. Then he disappeared, supposedly left Ireland, started over somewhere else. That was 7 years ago, Ciara said, her voice shaking. I thought he'd moved on, built a new life. But if he's back, if he's setting these fires... Amara stood, crossed to where Ciara was standing. We need to tell the police immediately. If Danny's back and targeting you, based on what? Graffiti and a guess? Ciara pulled away, defensive. I ruined his career, Amara. If I accuse him without proof and I'm wrong, it proves everything he said about me, that I'm vindictive, that I targeted him. And if you're right and stay silent, People could die. The argument escalated quickly. Amara wanted action. She was a doctor, trained to diagnose problems and treat them immediately. Ciara wanted caution. She'd learned the hard way that accusations without evidence could destroy careers and lives. But underneath the disagreement was something deeper: fear. Ciara's protective instincts were screaming at her. Danny was dangerous. If he was back, if he knew about Amara, he could target her to hurt Ciara. "This is my past, my consequence," Ciara said, her voice hard. "You're leaving in 3 months anyway when your fellowship ends. You don't have to be involved in this mess." The moment the words left her mouth, Ciara regretted them. But it was too late. Over the next week, external pressure mounted from every direction. Shay confronted Ciara at the station. "You've been distracted for weeks. First the mystery fires, now you're jumping every time someone mentions Danny Devlin's name. What aren't you telling me?" Amara's fellowship supervisor delivered an ultimatum: stop playing amateur detective with fire investigations or risk not having her fellowship renewed. Apparently, word had gotten out that Dr. James was spending her free time reviewing arson reports and bothering the fire marshal's office with questions. Then, Detective Quinn from the Garda Síochána, the Irish police, brought both women in for questioning about the Remember Danny message. Under Detective Quinn's calm but thorough questioning, more truth came out. Amara admitted she'd been independently investigating the fires for weeks. She'd pulled hospital records of burn victims, cross-referenced admission dates with fire dates, built databases to track patterns. It was technically a violation of patient confidentiality and hospital policy. Ciara watched Amara defend herself, passionately arguing that saving potential future lives justified the minor breach, and felt something twist in her chest. Amara had risked her entire career, her professional reputation, everything she'd worked for, because she believed in Ciara and wanted to help. It should have brought them closer. Instead, it terrified Ciara. "I never asked you to do that," Ciara said when they left the Garda station. "I never asked you to risk anything for me." Amara stopped walking, turned to face her. "I know, that's exactly the problem. You never ask for anything, Ciara. Not help, not support, not me. Not really. You want me, but at arm's length. Close enough to care about, too far away to need." They tried to fix it. They went for an evening walk in Phoenix Park, attempting to talk through the tension. Amara apologized for overstepping professionally. Ciara apologized for pushing Amara away. They agreed to communicate better and be more careful. But the real issues stayed buried. Ciara's fear that loving Amara made Amara a target, emotionally and potentially physically. Amara's growing frustration that Ciara wouldn't let her fully in, wouldn't trust her with the complicated, messy parts of life. The ticking clock of Amara's fellowship ending in 3 months. Neither willing to say, "I love you" again, because saying it made the inevitable goodbye unbearable. As they walked through the park at sunset, Ciara's phone rang. There'd been another fire, this time at Amara's apartment building. Not Amara's specific flat, but the building. The fire was small, contained quickly, no one hurt, but the message was clear. Danny knew about Amara, and he was escalating. Ciara's face transformed into a mask Amara had come to dread, the one that shut everyone out, that turned Ciara into Captain O'Connell instead of just Ciara. Cold, controlled, distant. "I'm arranging protective custody for you," Ciara said. "Tonight, you'll stay in a safe location until we catch Danny." "Excuse me, you're not my keeper." "This isn't a discussion." Ciara's voice was sharp with barely controlled fear. "He's targeting you because of me. I won't let you get hurt because I was selfish enough to let you into my life. Let you into my life. As if Amara was a risk to be managed, a problem to be solved, not a partner to be trusted." Amara felt something break inside her chest. "I didn't ask for permission to care about you, and I'm not asking for permission to stay in my own flat and live my own life. If you can't see me as anything other than another person who needs rescuing, then maybe, She stopped, tears filling her eyes. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I should just go." She walked away. Ciara didn't follow. They didn't speak for 2 weeks. Ciara threw herself into the investigation, working with Detective Quinn while secretly arranging a protective detail to follow Amara. Amara didn't know about the detail. Ciara told herself it was for Amara's safety. Really, it was because Ciara couldn't bear not knowing if Amara was safe. Amara moved through her hospital shifts like a ghost. She was mechanically brilliant in the operating room. Her hands never failed, her decisions never wavered. But outside of work, she was hollow. Her colleagues noticed. Her ex-wife, Keisha, called from London, worried. "You're doing it again," Keisha said gently. "Trying to rescue someone who doesn't want to be rescued. Trying to fix someone who sees love as a weakness." "She's not a patient I can cure," Amara admitted, crying on the phone. "I can't operate on her fear. I can't prescribe medication for her walls. And I can't keep sacrificing pieces of myself hoping she'll eventually let me in." Shay cornered Ciara at the station after finding her sleeping at her desk for the third night in a row. "You're doing exactly what you always do," he said, angry now instead of sympathetic. "The second something matters to you, really matters, you destroy it yourself, so no one else can take it from you. Danny Devlin didn't ruin your life 7 years ago, and he's not ruining it now. You're doing that all on your own." But Ciara couldn't stop. She was convinced that cutting Amara out completely was the only way to keep her safe. She'd lost too many people, carried too many bodies out of fires, seen too much death. She wouldn't survive losing Amara because of her own choices. So she pushed harder, investigated deeper, and pretended the hollow ache in her chest was just smoke inhalation that hadn't fully healed. Then came the anonymous tip. Detective Quinn received information that Danny Devlin would be at a specific warehouse location near Dublin port. He was supposedly planning something catastrophic, multiple buildings, multiple fires, mass casualties. It was obviously a trap. Quinn knew it, Ciara knew it, but there was a chance, slim, dangerous, that Danny would actually show up, that this nightmare would finally end. Ciara didn't tell Amara. She didn't tell anyone except the tactical team. They planned a careful operation, Gardaí, fire crew on standby, medical support at a distance. What Ciara didn't know, Amara had been tracking her location using the Find My Friends share they'd set up weeks ago and never turned off. When Amara saw Ciara heading to an abandoned warehouse at 11 p.m., she knew something was wrong. She followed. The warehouse was a shell of rusted metal and broken windows, sitting on the edge of Dublin port like a forgotten monument to industrial decline. Ciara arrived with Detective Quinn's tactical team, fire crew in position, every sense on high alert. They swept the building carefully, looking for Danny, for explosives, for any sign of the threatened attack. The warehouse was rigged with accelerants. They found them in strategic locations, enough to burn the entire structure. But there was no Danny, no confrontation, just an empty building and the bitter taste of a dead-end lead. As Ciara emerged, frustrated and furious at the wasted resources and dashed hopes, she saw Amara standing by the perimeter tape. She was wearing hospital scrubs under a jacket, hair pulled back, arms crossed, expression somewhere between terrified and angry. "What the hell are you doing here?" Ciara's voice was rough. "Watching you walk into a trap alone, again." Amara's eyes were bright with unshed tears. "You were going to face him without telling me, without even saying goodbye if something went wrong. I was protecting you? By shutting me out?" Amara's voice cracked. "By making every decision alone? By treating me like I'm made of glass instead of like I'm someone who loves you?" The words hung in the night air between them. Around them, police officers and firefighters pretended not to listen while absolutely listening to every word. Everything that had been building for months finally erupted. "You think I don't know you love me?" Ciara's voice was raw, all her walls finally crumbling. "I've known since the night you traced my scars. I've known, and it terrifies me, because everyone I love either leaves or gets hurt. My father died in a fire when I was 12, Amara. I was there. I couldn't save him. My first girlfriend left because I was married to the job. And Danny sent me pictures of my mom's house, her car, her. Threats to everyone I cared about. So yes, I shut you out. Because losing you to my choices, to my past, to my job, it would destroy me." Amara's anger softened slightly, but her voice stayed firm. "You don't get to make that choice for me. I'm not your father. I'm not your ex. I'm not your responsibility to protect. I'm supposed to be your partner, or I was trying to be. But you're so busy being the hero who saves everyone that you can't imagine someone might want to stand beside you, not behind you." She took a shaking breath. I came to Dublin to start over after my divorce. I was broken, Ciara. My marriage failed because I couldn't let someone fully in, because I always put my career first, because I didn't know how to be vulnerable. You made me feel whole again. You made me want to try. But I can't be with someone who sees me as another person to rescue instead of someone who can rescue you sometimes too. Ciara had no response. She was out of words, out of walls to hide behind. In the silence, Amara nodded slowly, understanding settling over her features like a heavy coat. My fellowship ends in 6 weeks, Amara said quietly. I was offered a permanent position at St. James's, head of trauma surgery. It's an incredible opportunity, the kind of role people spend decades working toward. I haven't accepted yet because I was waiting, hoping that you'd ask me to stay, not for you, with you. But you can't even see the difference, can you? She walked toward her car. This time, Ciara didn't just fail to follow. She stood frozen, watching Amara drive away, feeling the weight of every choice that had led to this moment. Shay appeared beside her, his usual cheerful expression replaced with something sadder. You going after her? Ciara shook her head, numb. She deserves better than this, than me. Yeah, Shay agreed. She probably does. Question is, are you brave enough to become better? Or are you only brave when it comes to running into burning buildings? The next morning, Kara was at the station when Detective Quinn called her back to the Garda headquarters. She had news, forensics results from the graffiti analysis on the Remember Danny message. It wasn't written by Danny Devlin, Quinn said, pulling up comparison images on her computer. The handwriting doesn't match any samples we have from his service records, and the accelerant pattern at that particular fire was different from Danny's known methodology. Ciara's world tilted. Then who? Quinn pulled up a personnel file. We've been looking at current firefighters Danny had conflicts with, but there's another angle we missed. Someone recently transferred into Dublin Fire Brigade from Cork. Someone with a sealed disciplinary record from 10 years ago. The photo on screen showed Garrett O'Neill, a quiet, competent firefighter Ciara had personally trained 3 months ago. Unremarkable, forgettable. O'Neill worked under Danny Devlin in Cork, Quinn explained, pulling up more records. He was there when Danny was dismissed from the service. According to sealed disciplinary files, O'Neill had some kind of hero worship situation with Danny. Blamed you for destroying him. The records show O'Neill required psychological evaluation before being allowed to continue in fire service. The pieces fell into place with horrible clarity. Garrett had been in Ciara's station for 3 months. He knew her schedule, her routines, her coffee shop, her usual routes home. He'd seen her with Amara at the station when Amara stopped by. He knew everything. He's been setting fires that match Danny's pattern to make you think Danny's back, Quinn continued, making you paranoid, isolating you, destroying your peace of mind the way he thinks you destroyed Danny's career. Ciara's blood ran cold. Where is he now? Called in sick to his shift tonight. We've been trying to locate him for the last hour. His mobile phone last pinged. Quinn's face went pale as she checked her computer. Near St. James's Hospital, near your girlfriend's apartment building. Ciara was running before Quinn finished the sentence. She called Amara 14 times during the drive across Dublin. No answer. The phone went straight to voicemail. Either Amara was ignoring her calls or her phone was turned off. By the time Ciara arrived with Shay, Quinn, and a tactical unit, smoke was already visible from a third-floor window. Amara's floor. Amara's apartment. This was different from the other fires. This was personal, targeted, meant to finish what started months ago. Punish Ciara by taking away the person who'd made her vulnerable. Ciara started toward the building, but Shay grabbed her arm. His grip was iron strong, his face serious. Listen to me, Captain. You can't save everyone. You've tried your whole life, and it's eating you alive, but you can save her. Let yourself need help. Let us do our jobs. Trust your team. For the first time in her 20-year career, Ciara made a different choice. Instead of charging in alone, playing hero, carrying everything herself, she coordinated. She directed. She trusted. Quinn's team evacuated residents. Shay's crew handled fire suppression. Other firefighters secured the perimeter. And then, Ciara, with her team behind her, went in for Amara. She found Amara on the third-floor stairwell, unconscious and calm, leading two elderly neighbors through the smoke. Even now, even terrified, Amara was saving people. When she saw Ciara, her expression was complex: relief, anger, love, frustration, all at once. "I told you I don't need rescuing," Amara said, voice hoarse from smoke. Ciara handed her a respirator mask. "I know, that's why I'm here, not to save you, to fight beside you." Together, they got the neighbors to safety. The building was evacuated. Everyone was out, except Garrett O'Neill. Firefighters found him still inside, trapped in the apartment where he'd set the accelerants. He'd been overcome by his own toxic fumes, collapsed in a room that had flashed over faster than he'd expected. He was unconscious, barely breathing, surrounded by the evidence of his crimes. Ciara stood at the entrance to that apartment. She could leave him. Should leave him. He'd tried to kill Amara. He'd terrorized Dublin for months. He deserved whatever happened. But Amara appeared beside her, soot-covered and exhausted, and said quietly, "We save people, even the ones who don't deserve it, even the ones who hurt us. That's who we are." Together, firefighter and doctor, they pulled Garrett O'Neill from the flames. Garrett survived, but barely. He was in custody, facing multiple charges of arson and attempted murder. The fires were over. Dublin was safe. Danny Devlin, who'd been living peacefully in Scotland for 7 years, completely unaware his name was being used, was cleared of any involvement. Ciara and Amara sat in the hospital roof garden as dawn broke over Dublin. They were covered in soot, exhausted, hand-wrapped burns being treated by an intern who kept staring at them with wide-eyed awe. But they were alive, together. For a long moment, neither spoke. The silence wasn't uncomfortable, just heavy with everything that needed to be said. Finally, Ciara took a breath. "I was wrong," she said, her voice steady but vulnerable in a way that felt foreign but right. "I spent 20 years believing that caring about people made them targets. That love was a weakness that put people in danger. But last night, watching you lead those neighbors through the smoke, you weren't weak. You were extraordinary. And I realized I wasn't trying to protect you from Danny or Garrett or fires. I was trying to protect myself from losing you." Amara took her hand, careful of the bandages. "I was wrong too. I was so focused on proving I could handle your world, be strong enough for your life, that I forgot to just be present. I wasn't trying to rescue you, but I was trying to fix things I had no right to fix. You don't need fixing, Ciara. You need someone who sees you completely and stays anyway." "You see me?" Ciara's voice cracked slightly. "You're the first person in 20 years who's seen past the uniform and the walls and the legend. You see the scared kid whose dad died in a fire. You see the woman who carries guilt like stones in her pockets. You see me, and you didn't run." Amara smiled through tears. "I ran toward you, even when you were pushing me away." The sun climbed higher over Dublin, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold, colors that should remind them of fire, but instead felt like hope. "My fellowship was supposed to end in 6 weeks, Amara said, "but I accepted the permanent position last week, before our fight, before the fire, before everything." Ciara's eyes widened. "You're staying?" "I'm staying in Dublin because I love this city and this job. I'm staying because this is where I want to build my life." Amara paused, cupped Ciara's face with gentle, precise hands. "But I need you to understand something important. I'm not staying for you. I'm staying for me. I chose this, my career, my city, my future. The question is, do you want me to stay with you?" It was the distinction Ciara finally understood. Amara wasn't a victim to be protected, or a saint to be worshipped, or a problem to be solved. She was a brilliant, complicated, brave woman who'd chosen her own path. And that path happened to run alongside Ciara's if Ciara was strong enough to walk it together. "Yes," Ciara said. The word came out hoarse, terrified, and absolutely certain. "I want you with me, as my partner, my equal, my..." She took a shaking breath. "God, I love you, Amara. I'm terrified and I'm going to mess this up sometimes, but I love you. I'm done pretending I don't need you. I do. Not to save me or fix me, but just to be with me." Amara smiled, tears finally falling freely. "I love you too. And yes, you'll mess it up, and I'll mess it up. We'll have arguments and bad days and moments where we want to strangle each other, but we'll figure it out together. Because that's what partners do. That's what people who love each other do. They kissed as the sun climbed higher. Not a fairy tale ending where everything was perfect, but a realistic beginning where two complicated people chose each other anyway. 6 months later, on a Saturday morning, their shared life had found its rhythm. Amara's medical journals crowded Ciara's coffee table. Ciara's turnout gear hung by the door next to Amara's hospital badge. They'd moved in together, not perfectly, not without arguments about whose turn it was to buy groceries, and why Amara left wet towels on the bathroom floor, and how Ciara couldn't keep adopting fire station plants that died within weeks. But it worked. Ciara was teaching Amara to cook traditional Irish breakfast, with limited success given that Amara kept wandering away to read research papers when both their phones rang simultaneously. Emergency, multi-car accident on the M50. Mass casualty event. Amara got the call first. All hands needed at St. James's Hospital Trauma Center. Ciara got hers seconds later. Vehicle fire at the scene, potential fuel spill, hazmat concerns. They looked at each other across the kitchen, the moment heavy with recognition. This was their life. Chaos, emergencies, the constant pull of people who needed them. Same scene? Amara asked, already reaching for her hospital bag. Looks like it. Ciara grabbed her keys. They drove together in Ciara's truck, racing toward the same emergency from different professional angles. At a red light, Ciara reached over and squeezed Amara's hand. "See you on the other side, Doctor." "Stay safe, Captain," Amara squeezed back. At the accident scene, they split immediately. Ciara went to command the firefighting operations, directing her crew, coordinating with hazmat, ensuring scene safety. Amara went to triage trauma cases, assessing injuries, prioritizing treatment, saving lives in those critical minutes before ambulance transport. They worked their separate roles brilliantly, professionally. But twice, their eyes met across the chaos, a silent check-in, a shared moment of recognition that said, "I see you, I've got this, we're okay." After 3 hours, when the emergency was finally contained, when all patients were transported and all fires were out, they found each other in the aftermath. Both were covered in blood and soot and the evidence of saving lives. Ciara pulled Amara into a fierce hug right there in front of assembled emergency services, not caring who saw, not caring about image or professionalism or reputation. "My girlfriend, the hero doctor," Ciara murmured against Amara's hair. "My girlfriend, the legendary firefighter," Amara replied, laughing through exhaustion. They were both right. And for the first time, neither of them was carrying the weight alone. That evening, they collapsed on their couch in the home they'd built together. No grand gestures, no dramatic declarations, just two women who'd chosen each other despite fear, despite complications, despite every reason they could have had to walk away. "I'm glad you stayed," Ciara said quietly. "I'm glad you let me in," Amara replied. Outside, Dublin continued its ancient rhythms, city lights flickering on, the River Liffey flowing toward the sea, people going about their lives unaware of the small miracles happening around them. Inside, two people who ran toward fire and trauma and chaos for a living had finally found their safe place, not perfect, not easy, but real, honest, true, and that was enough.